Okay, I'd like to introduce, I know y'all heard us refer to him fondly as Dr. Joe, but Dr. Joe Wilson, he is an amazing guy. Challenging at times, but I tell you, he knows how to make a project. He knows how to make a project happen, and he knows how to get people involved and committed. And honestly, I don't know. He's got a really long title through the World Mission Builders. It's Coordinator of Domestic Projects. But, you know, we just know him as our site coordinator and the guy that kind of was a point guy to get it all launched and that checked in and made sure that with all of his expertise that we kept on track, and we can never repay him for his role, and certainly the bringing in the World Mission Builders. They're a great group, and it's just a wonderful experience. So I would like Dr. Joe to come up and recognize all the World Mission Builders and talk a little bit about that part of the project. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Warden. I know an occasion like this you're supposed to stand up and do something dignified, so I want to start off on an illustration. When my kids were growing up, I don't know if it was Thursday night or what, we would, in the house, we would watch a program called the A-Team. How many of you remember the A-Team? You had that colonel, and then you had Mr. T that picked these guys up and banged their heads together. You had this technician that could solve and solve all kinds of electronic, complicated things. And the plot of the program was always the same. There was a contest between them, was the good guys, and the bad guys. And the bad guys would always, get ahead of them. And it came down to the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the program, and the bad guys were winning, and the A-Team was going to be wiped out. They're all going to be killed. And at the last minute, Mr. T would do his part, and this nerd would do his part, the colonel would do his part, and, they would come out victorious in the last 25 seconds of the program. And I can remember that colonel would always, at the very end, he would stand there and he would chomp on his cigar, and he would always say, "I love it when a plan comes together." That's kind of the way I feel today about this chapel. The plan has come together, and we are making the transition between the construction phase and going into the service and the ministry phase. This is Good Friday. Our Jewish brethren celebrate Passover. We remember the rest and crucifixion of our Lord. And then we usher in Easter Sunday morning, and that is a symbol of hope. And that's what we live for. That's what this institution is, to provide newness of life, to give hope and give promise of things going forward. I do want to recognize the World Mission Builder team. We don't have very many here. They live from all over the country. I think we had 8 different states represented, but I do see Larry Suazo back here, and so Larry has made a real effort to drive from Lawton to be up here. And so Larry came back. He came back several weeks later too, didn't he? Larry, stand up. Let's give this guy a hand of appreciation. He's what we call one of our second milers. And then I see Tommy Thomas back here. Tommy, is it Wellington, Texas? Recently retired from working at a prison. He helped us build a chapel in a federal prison in Mexico, which forever made an impression upon him. And he comes to all of our projects. And so let's give Tommy Thomas a hand, okay? And then we have Glenn and Jolene Short here with us. He is our architect, world class. Richard mentioned that. And, it's a lot of hard work to train an architect. I don't know if you know that or not. But we found him down at Westside Christian Church in Oklahoma City. I inquired about, if he knew anything about how to build a chapel, and found out he put the dome on the state capitol. I thought, well, if he can do that, maybe he can do one of these little chapels. But anyway, we brought him up here, and he did physical labor. And he made sure that we built it somewhat close to all those lines that were on the piece of paper that he drew. We frustrated him a few times, but anyway, up here and helped. And so, Glenn, Jolene, would you stand up? Let's give them a hand. Brought with them another architect that has signed on to help us over at Hominy, where there are 2 chapels there. Rick Johnson, and he's solidly on board. So, Rick, would you stand up? Let's give him a hand. We appreciate his work. And the reason we like them so much is because we don't have to pay them. They're volunteers.
Price is right.
Okay, Larry and Tommy, do we have any other of our World Mission Builders that I've overlooked? We have also with us Bob Rubin. Bob Rubin is our vice chair of the Chapel Creation Coalition East. That was formative in building the chapel at Taft in the first year of operation. I know this is Jewish and Christian this weekend, but my understanding is they baptized 160 ladies in the new baptistry within the first year of existence out there. Now, that's not the only measure, but that is a measure. And they are running, 24/7. They have need of another half chapel, and that ministry, I just get reports on a weekly basis of how well that's received and how well that's doing, and we're expecting that to be emulated here at Bill Johnson. So Bob Rubin, our vice chairman from CC. He's the one that came up with the Chapel Creation Coalition, which you had to learn to say that and to do that and to run that. And it worked over there and it worked there here, and we're working it also over at Hominy. Did we have, Bob, do you know of any others we have here of our committee? You're representing CCC East, right? So we're glad to have you. I do want to, when I walked in, my heart was lifted because I looked over here and we had a whole section of our offenders. Men, glad to have you. I want to express appreciation for your help. On these projects, it's a lot of hard work, and a lot of times we run short-handed. But that's something we didn't have to do here. If we needed a couple of guys, we got 10 guys. If we needed something done now, we had a whole bunch of guys do it now. And so we had a depth of talent and labor, and the attitude was positive. It was good. And you were just a blessing to all of the World Mission Builders. That's what we talk about, is the relationship and the help that we have from the offenders that are living here. And I don't know if you remember, but I remember when we had that appreciation lunch. They had been feeding you bologna sandwiches. You remember that? And I came in here and I said, Warden, let them serve themselves. And we had sloppy joes and pizza. We had stacks and stacks of pizza. Remember that? And with sloppy joes, and they came out with their plates that were stacked this high. I mean, it took 2 hands and sometimes 3 hands to carry one plate. And they ate that. You guys remember what I'm talking about, don't you? And then what'd you do? You went back for seconds, didn't you? And some of you went back for thirds till you got sick. I remember that. But anyway, men, I appreciate it. You are a vital part, and we have done this for you. And we trust that it will be a blessing to you and your life, and not only touch your personal life, but we trust it'll touch your wife, your parents, your extended family, and your children. And you come when you leave here, that the experience in building the chapel and the experience of the programs that are implemented in the chapel will make a significant lifelong difference in your life. That is our goal, and that is our dream, and that's the reason we have done that. So let's give them a hand. We appreciate their helping us with that. And then already been, we're covering ground again, but Richard and David and, Jerry and Dale and Terry and all the rest of the local committee and the community. Alva is just fantastic. You just really dug in, and Glenn can attest, they made our work easy, didn't it? Absolutely. I mean, sometimes we have to grunt these things out, and it's hands-on and it's intensive and it's labor-intensive. But the support that we had from the community was awesome. The money from Share Foundation, the donations from the churches, from the banks, and the business communities, and all the others just made this a breeze. I mean, this was an easy project, and we do appreciate all the support and the staff. We've talked about that, but the warden has been great. The staff, just fell in, and we had a great relationship with them, gave us everything that we needed. And we appreciate very, very, very much. I know I'm leaving some out, but my time is up. The warden's looking at me. But Jesus kind of talked about the definition of righteousness when he's going to sort things all out in the end between the good and the bad. And he said something about, I was hungry and you fed me, I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink, I was a stranger and you gave me some housing, was naked and you gave me some clothes, and I was sick and I was in prison and you came to visit me. And the gospel has the ability to change and transform and to give hope and renewal to all of our lives, whether we're on the outside or the inside. And so when we bring the message of good news and hope to those that are offenders on the inside, then we are fulfilling the mission and the command and the measure of righteousness that the Lord has given to us. And so it's a good thing of what you folks have done. Jesus says, I was in prison and you visited me, and inasmuch as you've done it unto the least of these my brethren, what did he say? You've also done it unto me. So not only have you served the DOC, not only have you served this community, not only have you served these men, but in doing what you have done, you've also served the Lord. And I want to thank you. It's been a fun project, and it's been a great joy and a great reward to come today and to have had this experience. And we trust that the programming that is going to be implemented going forward is going to make a difference for eternity.